Hello, and welcome to Stories for Sleep, a place where gentle stories are told to slowly guide you into a deep and peaceful sleep. Tonight, we will begin a very special journey, not up into a sky full of stars, but downward, deep beneath the earth. Perhaps you have never thought about it, that right beneath your feet, there exists an entirely different world, a place without light, without familiar sounds, and yet still full of life, of memory, and of quiet movement. Through the lens of Carl Gustav Jung, what lies deep below, whether in the earth or in the mind, is often where the most authentic and original truths reside. In this video, you do not need to remember anything or analyze anything. Just listen and allow your mind to slow down, to soften with each passing moment. If you enjoy this kind of experience, you can gently subscribe so you won't miss future journeys like this. Have you ever wondered what truly lies beneath the ground we walk on every day? Not just rocks or sand or silent layers of soil, but an entire living world, deep, hidden, almost completely separate from the light we know, a world without sky, without sunrise or sunset, yet one that moves with its own rhythm, slow, steady, and mysterious. In modern life, our minds are often pulled upward, toward the surface, toward light, sound, information, and endless thoughts. But as Carl Gustav Jung suggested, it is often what lies beneath, both in the earth and in the psyche, that holds the deepest meaning, and perhaps also the peace we have been searching for. This is not only a scientific journey into life beneath the ground, but a slow, gentle descent away from surface noise and into the quiet movements below. You may begin to notice that life does not need light to exist, that the smallest forms of life can sustain entire ecosystems, and that sometimes true aliveness exists most fully in stillness. As you listen, let your mind drift more slowly, like water seeping through layers of soil, like roots quietly expanding in the dark. No need to understand everything, no need to remember anything, just feel, because tonight, we are not only exploring the world beneath the earth, but also touching something deep within you. And perhaps, in that quiet space, you may find a sleep that is softer, deeper, and more peaceful. The world below. As you gently close your eyes and allow your breath to slow, you may begin to sense something both familiar and distant. That the world we see each day, with its open sky and bright light, is only a thin surface above a much deeper reality. Beneath your feet, right now, there exists another planet, without light, without horizons, without the noise of daily life, yet filled with life, with memory, and with quiet movement that the eyes can never reach. Through the perspective of Carl Gustav Jung, much of what shapes us does not lie in conscious awareness, but in the unconscious, dark, silent, yet deeply alive. And the earth beneath us is perhaps a perfect reflection of that truth. Imagine yourself slowly descending, not with your body, but with your awareness. The light above fades, the air becomes denser, the sound dissolves into near complete silence. Here, you are no longer distracted by what you must see, or understand, or control. Only presence remains, pure, simple, like the state just before sleep. And within that state, a gentle paradox appears. The darkest places are not lifeless. They are alive in a different way, slower, deeper, more enduring. Beneath the ground, Millions of tiny organisms move, exchange energy, sustain cycles we rarely think about. Fungal networks connect roots. Microorganisms break down matter. Underground water flows for thousands of years, all forming a world that does not need light. And psychologically, this is much like the unconscious mind, which does not require awareness, yet quietly shapes our thoughts, our emotions, our behavior. Perhaps what makes the world below so special is not its strangeness, but its forgotten familiarity. Because if you listen closely, you may notice that within you there is also such a depth, a place without clear light, without immediate answers, yet filled with memory, instinct, and your deepest self. Jung believed that to truly understand oneself, one must go down, not to find something new, but to meet what has always been there. And perhaps this is why this journey feels so fitting as you prepare to sleep, because sleep itself is also a descent. As you leave the light of consciousness, you enter another world, where images blur, logic softens, and feeling leads. Like the earth below, dreams do not need light, yet they illuminate what the day cannot. Notice, when you stop trying to understand, you begin to feel lighter. When you accept that some parts of the world and of yourself will remain unseen, you begin to release control. And in that release, there is a quiet peace, as if you are floating in a vast space, without needing definition, without needing explanation. The world below does not require you to see it. It continues to exist, to function, whether you notice it or not. And gently, this is also true for you. You do not need to understand every thought, every emotion, every memory to continue living. Some parts of you will always remain in the dark, and that does not make you incomplete. It is what gives you depth, richness, wholeness. So as you lie there, listening, you do not need to imagine too much. Just feel that beneath you, far below, a world continues in silence. And within you, just as deep, there is a similar space where everything continues, quietly, steadily, and as you allow yourself to drift with that feeling, without trying to hold, without trying to understand, you may notice that you are entering a familiar state, your body relaxing, your mind softening, everything slowing, deepening, just like the world below, silent, yet full of life. You too can gently descend into sleep without carrying anything except your own presence. And as you continue listening, you may notice something subtle. The deeper you go, the simpler everything becomes. No sharp images, no clear outlines, only the feeling of being. The earth below does not try to be beautiful, does not try to impress. It simply is, like a deep breath of the planet. And perhaps that quiet effortlessness is what brings a sense of safety. Because in daily life, we are used to understanding, explaining, controlling. But here, you do not need to do any of that. You can let everything pass, like layers of soil forming over time, slowly, without tension. And if you listen more deeply, you may sense a very slow rhythm, not sound, but movement. Water flowing through stone, microorganisms exchanging energy, sediments forming, nothing rushing, nothing stopping, a deep, enduring motion. And just like that, your body now is moving more slowly, your breath deeper, steadier, your thoughts no longer rushing, but spacing out, softening. And just like the world below, you do not need to see clearly to know that everything is still unfolding. You may not notice the exact moment you begin to let go, just as no one can point to when soil becomes a layer. It happens gradually, naturally, gently, and within that gentleness, there is a deep sense, as if you are being held, not by the surface, but by depth itself. No need for light, no need for direction, no need for effort, just being, and allowing your body to find rest. Like the earth below never rushes, sleep does not need to be forced. It comes when you stop holding on. It comes when everything begins to fade, softly, into the distance. And perhaps, right now, you are already beginning to feel it. A very gentle stillness, a natural release, a sense of drifting, slowly, deeply, downward. And in this journey, there is nothing to fear, because like the world below, you are entering a place, not to disappear, but to rest, to restore, to return to your deepest rhythm. So, just let everything slow down a little more. Let your breath soften, your body grow heavier, your mind become quieter, and as everything dissolves into that stillness, you may realize you are already very close to a deep, gentle sleep. Caves are a vault of time. If there is a place on earth where time seems not to pass, it is within the caves deep beneath the ground. There is no sunlight to mark day and night, no wind to erase what remains, no constant change like on the surface. And because of this, everything is preserved, almost intact, as if time itself has chosen this place to rest. Imagine you are stepping into an ancient cave, each footstep echoing softly against the stone floor. The space around you is so quiet that you can hear your own breath. And then, somewhere beneath your feet, a footprint appears, not yours, but one left behind by a human being tens of thousands of years ago. That footprint is no longer warm, but it is still there, like a whisper from the past. From the perspective of Carl Gustav Jung, memory does not exist only in the conscious mind. It is also held within the deeper layers of the collective unconscious. And strangely, caves resemble an unconscious of the earth, a place where nothing is truly forgotten, only quietly held, waiting to be found. Ancient bones are not just remnants of life, but proof that there was once a heartbeat, a breath, a life. Ashes left behind tell of nights by the fire, of people gathering, sharing stories, seeking safety in a vast and uncertain world. And all of this has not disappeared, but remains deep within the earth, like a silent journal. What makes caves special is not only that they preserve matter, but that they preserve moments. A footprint is not just the shape of a foot, it is a moment of movement, a second of life, held still in time. A bone is not just biological structure, but the fragment of an unfinished story. And as you begin to feel this, you may also sense a deep connection, that you, the one listening now, are not separate from those traces. You too are part of that same flow of time, just at a different point in the same long journey. Perhaps this is why caves feel both humbling and peaceful. Humbling because you realize you are only a brief moment in an endless history, and peaceful because you understand you are not alone. You belong to a continuous thread that began long before you and will continue even beyond you. And within the stillness of the cave, there is no pressure to understand, no need to control. Everything simply exists. Drops of water form stalactites over thousands of years, without rushing, without error, only patient and precise with time. And perhaps, as you listen, your mind begins to slow, like the space you are imagining. Thoughts, no longer rushing, but appearing less often, like drops of water falling in a cave, steady, gentle, spaced apart. And you begin to realize, not everything needs to be remembered by the conscious mind, because some memories, like those within the earth, are simply held in a deeper, quieter, more enduring place. You do not need to carry everything into sleep. You do not need to hold on to every thought, every worry. You can allow them to settle like dust of time, falling gently and resting in an ancient cave. And when you do, sleep is no longer something to be achieved, but something that comes naturally, like time itself, flowing silently beneath the earth. Just allow yourself to slow, to soften, to sink a little deeper, like entering a cave where memories are kept, and all movement becomes gentle until there is nowhere else to go, only to be and to sleep. And if you listen a little more closely, you may begin to notice that it is not only caves that store memory. Your body does this too. Every experience, every emotion, every moment of fear, of love, of loss, leaves a trace, not always visible, but always present, somewhere within the deeper layers of your mind. As Carl Gustav Jung once said, the psyche is not of today. Its ancestry goes back many millions of years. Just like a cave, your mind does not only hold today, it carries ancient layers, instincts, feelings you may not always be able to name. And perhaps this is why, in quiet spaces, you sometimes feel something deep, something difficult to explain, as if you were touching a part of yourself, usually hidden by the noise of daily life. A cave does not try to be beautiful and does not try to be meaningful, and yet its silence makes everything clearer. And you are the same. You do not need to do anything more to be complete. You do not need to solve every question. You do not need to understand every memory. You only need to allow everything to settle, like layers of sediment, falling slowly, forming depth, stable, over time. Imagine each thought within you as a small grain of dust, and instead of holding on to them, you simply let them fall, slowly, gently, naturally. No need to push away, no need to hold on. Just let them fall. And as they settle, you may begin to feel a soft, open space, like the inside of a deep cave, where nothing rushes, nothing crowds, only presence, quiet, peaceful. Perhaps, somewhere, a drop of water is still falling. One drop, then another, steady, like your breath. And you do not need to do anything. Just listen and allow your body to follow that rhythm. Because deep within, your body knows how to rest. Your mind knows how to let go. You have simply rarely allowed it. But right now, you are, gently. And like a cave, you do not need light to exist. Only quiet, a little time, and permission to return to yourself. And as you drift deeper, images, thoughts will begin to fade, like light disappearing as you go further underground, not because they are gone, but because you no longer need them. Life without light. As we continue deeper, a gentle, paradoxical truth appears that life, which we often associate with sunlight, does not depend on it entirely. In places where light has never reached, where darkness is not temporary, but permanent, life still exists, quiet, enduring, patient beyond imagination. Deep within layers of earth, under immense pressure, without day or night, tiny microorganisms continue to live. They do not need light or sky or familiar cycles of time. Instead, they live through chemical processes, slow, stable, almost invisible. Some bacteria consume iron, some breathe sulfur. Entire ecosystems draw energy from rock, from minerals, from the earth itself. No sunlight, yet still energy. No sun, yet still life. And within this, a quiet truth reveals itself, that life does not need to be bright to exist. It only needs enough conditions and enough patience. And perhaps this reflects something within you. You may have thought, to truly live, you must shine, achieve, be seen, be recognized. But like those organisms in the dark, there is another way of being, quieter, slower, yet just as real. As Carl Gustav Jung once wrote, "In all chaos, there is a cosmos, in all disorder, a secret order." And perhaps, in the darkness of the earth, or in the quiet spaces of your mind, there is also a hidden order, a form of life that does not need to prove itself, only to be. These organisms move slowly, so slowly that growth may take years, even decades, but that slowness is how they survive. No rushing, no excess, no waste. And as you hear this, you may feel a gentle invitation. You do not need to hurry. You do not need to shine all the time. You do not need to always think, always react. You can slow down. Like those unseen forms of life, you can exist with only what is needed: a breath, a resting body, a quieting mind. And as your thoughts slow, becoming lighter, more spaced, a familiar feeling appears: peace. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are no longer trying to control everything. Like the earth, complete without light, you do not need to do anything more to rest. Just let go. Just allow yourself to do nothing for a few moments. And as you do, your body may feel heavier, gently sinking, not from pressure, but from safety, a sense of being held, supported, resting, like lying deep within the earth, where nothing disturbs you, only stability. And in that stability, sleep is no longer something to reach. It is simply what happens when you stop resisting. Like life in darkness, your sleep does not need light, only a little remaining energy, a little letting go, and enough quiet to gently arrive. The silent engineers of the earth, as we continue to move deeper into the world beneath the ground, where everything seems still and slow, you may begin to notice something subtle, that this stillness is not the absence of activity, but a different kind of activity, quieter, more patient, and far more enduring. There, small creatures like earthworms, ants, and termites do not create loud sounds, do not what freeze, traces on the surface, and yet, day by day, hour by hour, they are reshaping an entire world, silently, almost invisibly. Earthworms carve tiny tunnels, loosening the soil, allowing air and water to move more deeply into the earth. Ants build intricate systems, like miniature cities, and termites quietly break down wood and organic matter, returning it to the soil as nourishment. All of these actions seem small, but when repeated across millions of beings, over thousands of years, they create a complete ecosystem, a hidden foundation that supports all life above. And if you pause and reflect gently, in the way Carl Gustav Jung once suggested, you may begin to see that the outer world often mirrors the inner one. Just as those tiny beings quietly shape the earth, within the human mind, there are also silent engineers. They may be small habits, repeated thoughts, subtle emotions, things that seem unimportant, yet slowly, quietly, shape who you are. They do not call attention, they are not loud, and yet they hold the power to transform your inner landscape, just as earthworms transform the soil. And sometimes we only notice big changes, obvious events, and forget that it is the small things that are truly enduring, that truly form the foundation. A gentle word, a kind action, a quiet thought repeated each day. All of these are like small tunnels beneath the ground, gradually creating more space, more openness within your mind. And in the same way, negative thoughts, silent worries, if repeated long enough, can create hollow spaces, leaving a feeling of emptiness without knowing why. And when you begin to understand this, you may start to see small things with new respect, no longer overlooking them, no longer dismissing them, because you realize they are shaping your life just as those tiny beings shape the planet. And as you look more closely, a deep connection appears between below and above, between the invisible and the visible. Without those tiny tunnels underground, roots could not grow, water could not sink deep, life above would slowly weaken. And similarly, without those small movements within the mind, growth would slow or even stop. So sometimes, what you need is not to change everything at once, but simply to begin with something small, very slow, but consistent, like an earthworm that never rushes, yet transforms hard soil into fertile ground over time. And in this moment, as you listen, you may begin to notice that you do not need to do anything grand to become better. A softer thought, a slower breath, a gentle acceptance that is already a movement. A very small movement, but enough to begin. And as your body relaxes, as your mind quiets, you may imagine beneath you a world still at work, tireless, silent, yet full of life. And within you, the same is true. Things are still unfolding, still rearranging, still healing in their own way. You do not need to control everything. You only need to trust those silent engineers, both in the earth and within yourself. And slowly, little by little, you may allow yourself to soften, to drift, to let the quiet gently surround you, like the earth holding all life, patiently, silently, supportively, guiding you into a deeper rest where nothing needs to rush, where small things are enough to form a whole world, and where you only need to close your eyes and allow yourself to rest. And as you continue listening in this quiet space, you may begin to feel something gentle, that the world is not built only by what is large and visible, but by countless small movements, repeated, patient, almost unseen, like an ant carrying tiny grains of soil, one by one, building an entire colony, or a worm, moving silently in the dark, softening vast land. No one sees them, no one praises them, and yet, without them, life above would slowly fade. And perhaps this is also true for you. There are small efforts you have made each day, things you may have already forgotten. A moment you chose calm, a moment you did not react, a moment you allowed yourself to rest. All of these are like tiny tunnels within your mind, quietly creating space for softness, for healing, for growth, without noise, without urgency. And as you look deeper, you may notice something else. Those small creatures do not work alone. They are connected, forming a living network, supporting one another, balancing one another. And within you, your thoughts, your memories, your emotions are also connected, forming an inner ecosystem. And when one part heals, other parts begin to change, slowly, gently, but truly, like soil, becoming richer over time, without anyone noticing the exact moment it changed. And in this moment, you do not need to do anything more. You do not need to understand everything. You do not need to control anything. You only need to be here, to listen, and to allow your body to grow heavier, as if supported by the earth beneath you, where everything continues, quietly, patiently, caring for life in its own way. And perhaps you can allow yourself to be like that too. Not perfect, not fast, just a little slower, just a little softer, and trust that the small things within you are still working, still guiding you toward a deeper peace. And as your breath slows, becomes lighter, more even, you may imagine yourself gently sinking, not into darkness to fear, but into a quiet, warm space where everything is held, protected, nurtured, just as the earth has held life for millions of years, without hurry, without noise, simply continuing to sustain. And in that stillness, you can begin to let go, each thought, each worry, like soft layers of soil, settling over everything, gently, slowly, until all becomes quiet, and you are left with only the feeling of being supported, of being safe, of resting naturally, as if sleep is not something you must find, but something already finding you. The hidden dangers. As we begin to move deeper into the world beneath the earth, where there is no light, no sky, we are often drawn to the beauty of its silence, to the feeling of stability, as if everything there is unchanging, safe, untouched by the disturbances of the surface world. And yet, within that seemingly quiet place, there exist subtle movements, dangers without sound, and sometimes it is precisely because we cannot see them that we so easily forget they are there. There are places where the ground above appears completely ordinary. Grass still grows, people still walk, life continues as usual, but deep below, the structure of the soil has already been hollowed out, eroded by water, worn away over hundreds, even thousands of years, until one day, when everything can no longer hold itself together, the ground suddenly collapses, forming a deep sinkhole, swallowing everything above without any clear warning. These sinkholes are not sudden events, but the result of a very long, very slow, and completely silent process. And it is not only the earth, even the air beneath the ground can become a hidden threat. Invisible gases, such as methane, carbon dioxide, or hydrogen sulfide, colorless, often odorless, or only faintly noticeable, can accumulate in caves, in mines, in enclosed spaces, and when they reach certain concentration, they can take life within minutes, without noise, without violence, just a subtle shift in the composition of the air that the human body does not have time to recognize. Then there is water, something we often associate with life, yet it too can become a quiet force of transformation. Underground water layers, moving slowly beneath the earth, sometimes rising, sometimes receding, altering pressure, reshaping the pressure, structure of the soil, weakening the very foundations of cities. Above, and what is most striking is that all of this happens without being truly seen. There are even fires burning beneath the ground, smoldering quietly for decades, even centuries, in coal mines, where oxygen seeps into deep layers, sustaining a slow combustion, not erupting into great flames, but never extinguishing, releasing toxic gases, heating the earth, reshaping entire regions. And humans often only realize when the consequences have already spread. When all of these phenomena are placed side by side, they do not create a frightening picture, but rather they reveal a very gentle yet profound truth, that the world is not only made of what we can see, and that safety is sometimes only a feeling, not an absolute state. Carl Gustav Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." And if we listen to this not only with the mind, but with a quiet awareness, it begins to feel like a whisper rising from the depths of the earth itself. Because just like the layers beneath the ground, within each of us, there are also hidden strata, thoughts not yet named, emotions long forgotten, memories never revisited. And precisely because we do not see them, we sometimes believe they are not there, that everything within us is stable, safe, and yet, in an unexpected moment, a feeling rises, a worry without a clear source, a fatigue that cannot be explained, like a sinkhole within the mind, appearing without warning, and we wonder, what has happened? Perhaps the answer has always been below the surface. But that does not mean we must fear what we cannot see, just as we do not need to fear the earth, simply because it holds complex movements within. For those very movements are also part of life, part of balance, part of a greater system of which we are only a small part. What matters may not be controlling everything, but learning to listen, learning to notice the smallest, most subtle signals from within and from below. And as you lie there, in your own quiet space, you may imagine beneath your feet an entire world in motion, slow, profound, without light, without sound, yet still existing, still functioning in its own perfect way. And just like that, within you, there are things you have not yet seen, but that does not make them dangerous. They are simply waiting to be understood, very gently, in a moment, as quiet as this one. As we drift deeper into this stream of thought, we begin to realize that the greatest fears of human beings do not often come from what is loud, obvious, but from what is silent, from what exists beyond awareness, like the earth beneath us, always present, always moving, yet rarely noticed, until it speaks. Perhaps that is why, since ancient times, humans have always carried a quiet curiosity, mixed with caution, toward what lies below. Deep caves, endless tunnels, or simply the thick soil beneath our daily steps, all evoke a feeling that is both familiar and distant, as if it belongs to our world, yet not entirely to the gruesome world we know. And if we listen more carefully, we may realize that the hidden dangers beneath the earth are not always negative. For these processes, whether collapse, gas accumulation, or slow chemical reactions, are all part of a living system, a planet that is still changing, still adjusting, still seeking balance. Just like within the human mind, not every buried emotion is harmful. Not every unnamed thought is a threat. Sometimes they are simply parts that have not yet been understood, not yet acknowledged. And when we gently allow ourselves to look downward, not with fear, but with quiet curiosity, what once caused unease may become a piece of understanding, a way of knowing ourselves more deeply. Because the truth is, both the earth and the human mind are not formed only by what appears on the surface, but largely by what lies beneath, in silence, in darkness, in movements we cannot hear, yet that are always present. And strangely, when we accept this, a soft sense of peace begins to emerge. Not because the world becomes safer, but because we no longer feel the need to control everything, no longer need to understand it all, but simply accept that some things will always remain unseen, and that is perfectly natural, just as, right now, you do not need to see each heartbeat to know that it is there, steady, patient, quietly sustaining you. And as this thought gently spreads, you may feel your body becoming a little lighter, your breath slower, deeper, as if you are beginning to move with the quiet rhythm of the earth, where nothing rushes, nothing demands, everything simply continues in its most natural way. So, if there is anything within you that still feels unclear, not yet understood, or even slightly unsettling, you do not need to search for answers right now. Just let it to be there, as the earth holds its own mysteries, quietly, patiently, and perhaps at some moment, when you are ready, everything will naturally become clearer. But for now, you only need to rest and let every thought drift downward, like layers of soil, settling softly into stillness. Humanity and the underground world, as we gradually move away from the untouched layers of nature and closer to the imprint of human presence, another world begins to appear, not of roots or microorganisms, but of structures shaped by intelligence, by necessity, and sometimes by a very quiet and deeply rooted fear. This is the underground world of our own making. Cities beneath the earth, subway systems gliding silently, deep mining tunnels stretching into darkness, and vast data centers, where the memory of the digital age is stored, all existing, not above, but below, as if humanity, after thousands of years of looking toward the sky, has begun to turn inward, toward depth. And this shift is not only spatial, but deeply psychological. As Carl Gustav Jung once suggested, what lies below often symbolizes the unconscious, the hidden aspects of the self. And when humanity begins to build its world beneath the surface, perhaps in some subtle way, we are also moving closer to our own unconscious, slowly but inevitably. Imagine an underground city where light does not come from the sun, but from artificial lamps, where time is not marked by sunrise or sunset, but by the rhythm of passing trains, where people move past one another in enclosed spaces, and though life continues, work continues, connection continues, everything unfolds in a different state, quieter, more contained, and sometimes a little more alone. And yet, within that quietness, something very particular emerges, a sense of safety, because the earth has always been a place of shelter from storms, from war, from the uncontrollable. And so, it is no surprise that humans build bunkers during conflict or place data centers deep underground to protect information from surface risks, as if the more unstable the world becomes, the more we seek to move downward, deeper, more enclosed, more stable. And this reflects something deeply human that we do. Not only seek growth, but also safety. Not only expansion, but also retreat into spaces we can hold and understand. If we look symbolically, subway tunnels, underground pathways, hidden corridors resemble the unconscious connections within us, where ideas, memories, emotions travel without our awareness, not present in conscious thought, yet shaping how we think, how we feel, how we respond. Just as a city above cannot function without the systems below. And when we think of data centers storing billions of fragments, images, stories, memories of humanity, all placed underground in cool, silent, protected environments, we may notice a quiet parallel with how the mind stores memory. Both choose to go downward, both require stability, both protect what is essential. And perhaps this is why, when we long to rest, to release, to let go, we instinctively move inward, away from noise, from brightness, from constant stimulation, toward a quieter, deeper space, like the earth, where everything slows, softens, becomes less sharp. And in this moment, as you are listening, you may imagine yourself gently descending, layer by layer, not physically, but through feeling, each layer releasing a thought, each layer softening a tension, until you reach a space that is very still, very deep, where there is little sound, little movement, only a slow, steady, gentle breath. And just like the underground world we have created, you too are slowly entering a state of rest, natural, effortless, without control, without force, simply allowing everything to settle in the softest possible way. And as this quiet deepens, you may begin to notice that peace does not come from going further, but from going deeper into that inner space where everything finally becomes slow enough for you to drift into sleep, naturally, gently, and completely. The unconscious, the underground world of the mind. As we move slowly through the deeper layers of the earth, perhaps the most fascinating part is not only what exists below, but how it reflects the very structure within the human mind. Because if you listen carefully, you may begin to realize that our mind also carries within it an underground world, vast, silent, and full of mystery, much like the earth we have just explored. From the perspective of Carl Gustav Jung, human beings do not live solely through the Roshan clarity of consciousness, but are also guided by a deeper layer, a place that holds forgotten memories, unnamed emotions, and even those parts of ourselves we have never dared to face. That deeper layer is not loud, does not reveal itself directly, yet it is always present, like underground streams quietly flowing beneath the soil, unseen, yet nourishing the entire ecosystem above. There are memories you believe you have forgotten. There are emotions you think have already passed, but in truth, they have only settled. They do not disappear. They simply move from the surface into the depths, and there they continue to exist in their own way. Sometimes they appear in dreams that are not random stories, but more like inner caves, places you enter where you begin to see strange images, unfamiliar symbols, feelings that are vague, yet somehow known. In dreams, you may get lost. You may meet people from the past. You may experience things that have never happened, and yet all of it comes from somewhere very deep, just as caves are formed over thousands of years, from tiny drops of water, from layers of stone slowly gathering. Dreams too are formed from small experiences, scattered emotions, unfinished thoughts. All of it gathers, settles, and then, one night, it opens, not to frighten you, but to help you understand, that you are not only what you are aware of, you are also an entire world beneath, a world where there may be unfinished parts, unhealed wounds, unspoken desires, but also creativity, intuition, deep sources of energy, just like the earth, which does not only hold darkness, but also life. And something very gentle begins to happen when you slowly accept the existence of this underground world within you. You no longer feel afraid of the darkness, because you begin to understand that darkness is not an enemy. It is simply a place where light has not yet reached, like a cave, not a place of ending, but a place waiting to be explored. And perhaps, in modern life, we have grown used to living on the proper surface. We are familiar with light, with speed, with clarity, but we have forgotten how to listen to depth, forgotten that some answers are not outside, but lie very deep within ourselves. And tonight, as you begin to slow down, as the outer world becomes quiet, this is also the moment when the underground world within you begins to open, not loudly, not in a hurry, just gently, like an invitation, inviting you to step downward, not to search for something grand, but simply to feel that within you there is a place very deep, very still, and very real, a place where you do not need to become anyone else, do not need to explain, do not need to control, only to exist like the earth, silent, enduring, and always alive in its own way. And as you begin to accept that, you may realize that peace does not come from removing the darkness, but from understanding it and gently holding it, just as the earth holds everything beneath it, without judgment, without rejection, simply containing. And perhaps that is what your mind is learning, little by little, in silence, in the soft darkness of the night, so that when you let yourself sink, you are not falling into emptiness, but returning to your own underground world, where everything is still alive, still moving, and quietly waiting for you to discover in your own way. And just like that, you may slowly release, soften, and allow your mind to drift deeper into sleep, as a journey downward that is also a return. As you continue to move deeper into this state of relaxation, you may begin to notice something very subtle, that this underground world within you is not chaotic as you once imagined. It has structure, it has rhythm, it has its own quiet logic. Only that logic is not the same as the reasoning of the daytime mind. It is like water flowing beneath the ground, not in straight lines, but winding, curving, finding the path of least resistance. Your mind is the same. Memories do not disappear. They simply find another path. Unspoken emotions transform into something else. And sometimes they become intuition, a feeling you cannot fully explain, a decision not based on analysis, yet somehow right, an emotion without a clear reason, yet undeniably real. That is the underground current of the mind. And just like beneath the reason, earth, where life in darkness has learned to adapt, the deeper parts within you have also learned to exist in their own way. Some parts become quiet, some become more sensitive, some become strong in ways you do not notice, because they do not need to be seen to exist. They only need to be accepted. And perhaps the gentlest thing you can do right now is not to try to understand everything, but simply to allow yourself not to understand. Like standing before a deep cave, you do not need to explore it all at once. You only need to know that it is there, and that is enough. Tonight, you can do the same. No need to decode everything within. No need to name every emotion. No need to answer every question. Just gently recognize that within you there is a world, very deep, very vast, and very alive. And you do not need to control it. You only need to trust that just like the earth, everything beneath is still functioning perfectly in its own way. And as your final thoughts begin to soften, as the images in your mind gently fade, you may begin to feel your breath slower, deeper, softer, like the breathing of the earth itself, far below, unseen, yet always present. And then you no longer need to go down, because you are already there, in a space without light, without noise, without pressure, only stillness and a feeling very light, very deep, very safe. And from that place, you may gently let go and drift into sleep, like a natural journey, without effort, without control, simply returning to yourself. Ancient symbols, humanity's pull toward below. In many ancient stories across humanity, from Eastern traditions to Western mythologies, there is a recurring image, one that appears again and again: the journey downward, into the earth, into caves, into darkness, as if human beings, since the earliest times, have always sensed that something important awaits them below. These stories are not accidental. In Greek mythology, Orpheus descends into the underworld to find the one he loves. In Mesopotamian myth, Inanna descends into the underworld, surrendering layer after layer of her power. In many traditions, heroes must enter a place that is dark, lonely, even frightening, before they can return, transformed. If we look at these stories through the lens of Carl Gustav Jung, we begin to see that they are not only outer stories, but inner maps of the human psyche. Because going down has never been only a physical act. It is a psychological movement, a turning inward, a journey from the surface, where there is light, order, identity, into the depths where everything becomes uncertain, primal, beyond control. There, in the earth of the mind, are forgotten memories, unnamed emotions, rejected parts of the self. Jung called this the unconscious. And what is Remarkable is that, like deep caves beneath the earth, the unconscious is not empty. It lives, it moves, it remembers, and sometimes it calls us back, not through words, but through dreams. Dreams where you fall, where you wander, through dark corridors, where you enter undefined spaces. This is not getting lost. It is an invitation, an ancient invitation, inviting you to go down, to meet yourself, because in every myth, the journey downward is always tied to something essential, transformation. No hero returns as who they once were. They lose something, but gain something deeper. They release an old version to become a new one. And this reflects a very gentle yet powerful truth, that in life, the moments of descent, the times when you feel lost, tired, drawn into darkness, may not be signs of an ending, but of a process of change. Slow, silent, like the earth transforming over thousands of years. Some things can only be understood in darkness. Some parts of you can only heal when you allow yourself to touch them, and like a seed buried in the soil, in complete darkness before it can grow, so too, sometimes you must go down, not to disappear, but to begin. A beginning that is quiet, not bright, not loud, but true. And as you lie here, in the stillness of the night, perhaps you too are in a gentle form of descent, not into the earth, but into yourself, where the thoughts of the day begin to dissolve, where emotions are no longer held back, where you do not need to become anyone, only to exist. And perhaps the most beautiful part of these ancient symbols is that they remind us darkness is not the enemy, it is part of the journey, a necessary part, a sacred part, because it is in darkness that you can see the stars, and it is in these moments of descent that you can truly return to yourself. And as this idea softens, you may feel everything within you beginning to settle. No need to understand, no need to analyze, only a deep, quiet, safe feeling, like an ancient cave holding you in stillness, so that you may gently drift into sleep. And if it feels as though this story is not fully complete, that too is natural, because journeys like this rarely have a clear ending. They are like circles, with no absolute beginning, no final conclusion, only moments where you realize where you are. Sometimes you are on the surface, clear, structured, directed, and sometimes you feel yourself going down, not because you are weaker, but because you are going deeper, deeper into questions you once avoided, deeper into emotions you once set aside, deeper into your own nature. And you do not need to fear this, because, as these ancient stories have always whispered, every journey downward, if fully lived, leads to a return, a quiet return, not dramatic, but profound. You return, changed, carrying a softer understanding, a wider acceptance, a peace beyond explanation. And perhaps that is what these symbols of the earth below have always meant, that beneath all layers of life, there is a place, very deep, very still, where you can return without needing to prove anything, without needing to try, only to exist. And as you lie here, you may notice your body too is going down, your breath slowing, your heartbeat softening, your thoughts dissolving like mist. You do not need to hold them, nor push them away. Just let them drift, like layers of soil, settling over time. And deep within, a quiet stillness opens. Not dark, not bright, just peaceful. A peace, not because everything is resolved, but because you no longer need to resolve everything. So, if any image remains in your mind, a cave, a path downward, a quiet space, just let it be there. No need to understand, no need to name, only to feel. Because sometimes what is not fully understood is what allows you to rest most deeply. And then, as everything becomes softer, lighter, you may allow yourself to drift slower, deeper, as if held by the silence of the world below, where there is no hurry, no pressure, no expectation, only existence and rest. And in this moment, you do not need to go anywhere, because you are already where you need to be, a place very deep, very still, very enough. Now, let every thought gently close. Let your body rest and allow sleep to come softly, like a downward journey, gentle and safe, returning to primal stillness. As we reach the final part of this journey, all the images of the world beneath, of deep caves, slow-flowing underground waters, and quiet beings living in darkness, no longer feel distant, but instead become a feeling something very close, very familiar, as if they have always existed somewhere within you. And perhaps that is also where Carl Gustav Jung once directed his gaze, not only into the earth, but into the depths of the human mind, where nothing is loud, nothing is dazzling, yet everything forms the foundation of all that is, because if you listen long enough, you may begin to notice that the world beneath the earth and the world beneath consciousness share a very similar rhythm, a slow rhythm, very slow, yet never stopping. There are no sudden movements there, no loud sounds, no urgency, only small changes, almost imperceptible, but given enough time, they shape entire worlds. A single drop of water, falling again and again, can form a cave. A subtle shift in the earth can reshape entire landscapes. And in the same way, a very small thought, a very gentle emotion, can quietly shape who you are in ways you may never fully notice. And what is most remarkable is that at that deepest level, there is no resistance, no force, no tension. Everything simply unfolds, very naturally, very slowly, very patiently. And as you begin to notice your breath now, you may realize that it too is becoming slower, deeper, softer, as if your body is remembering an ancient rhythm, a rhythm that existed long before your first thoughts, long before you knew how to worry, the rhythm of life, in its most primal state. And in that state, you do not need to understand everything, do not need to solve every problem, do not need to become anyone else. You only need to be here and allow yourself to return to a place without a name, without a clear form, yet carrying a feeling that is deeply familiar, safe, peaceful. You may begin to notice your thoughts no longer follow one another. They become scattered, light like clouds, drifting and dissolving, and you do not need to hold on to them, nor push them away, because at this depth, everything is allowed to dome screase, come and to go, like layers of earth, formed and slowly transformed over thousands of years, without urgency, without effort, simply continuing to exist. And then, as you move a little deeper, you may begin to feel a very special kind of stillness, not a complete silence, but a kind of living silence, where everything is still happening, yet nothing disturbs, like the earth still breathing, very slowly, very deeply, and you are breathing. In the same way, there is nothing more to do, nowhere to go, nothing to achieve, only to remain within this breath. And if you notice carefully, you may realize that between each breath, there is a very small pause, a quiet space, very still. That is where thoughts momentarily rest, emotions settle. And if you stay there, just for a moment, you may feel a deep lightness, as if you have just set down something you have been carrying for a very long time. And now, there is nothing left to hold, only you and the stillness. Beneath all layers of earth, there is no rush, no noise, only existence, slow and deep. And tonight, you too can return there, within yourself. And as these words begin to fade into space, you may also allow yourself to fade into sleep, gently, naturally, without effort, just as everything within the earth has always unfolded, quietly and peacefully. And if you are still awake, just a little longer, let these final images continue to drift slowly through your mind, like soft layers of earth settling one upon another, layer by layer, without hurry, without purpose, simply existing. You may imagine that you are lying very deep beneath the surface of the brief world, where there is no harsh light, no chaotic sound, only a quiet stillness, dense, warm, as if you are being held by the earth itself. In that place, there is no day, no night, only a flow of time, so slow it almost stands still. And within that flow, you do not need to be anyone, do not need to complete anything, do not need to prove anything. You only need to let go. Let your body become a little heavier, as if gently sinking into soft ground, supporting you, holding you, never letting you fall. Let your shoulders soften, your jaw release, your eyes rest, and each breath becomes a movement downward, slower, deeper, softer. You may begin to notice your final thoughts fading like footprints in sand, erased by the wind. No need to hold them, no need to remember, because at this depth, everything is allowed to disappear. And as everything settles, you may begin to feel a very gentle peace, not strong, not bright, but real. A peace that does not come from outside, but from the deepest place within you, like the earth, unseen, yet nurturing an entire world. And you are the same. You do not need to understand everything. Do not need to solve every mystery. Do not need to know exactly where you are going. You only need to rest and trust that, like the earth, like life itself, everything within you already knows how to continue, very slowly, very deeply, and with quiet endurance. So tonight, allow yourself to drift a little away from thoughts, away from worries, away from everything that needs control. Just drift, lightly and slowly, like the world beneath has always done for so long. And when you are ready, let your eyes fully rest. Let your body sink a little deeper and allow sleep to arrive naturally, softly, without needing to name it, wishing you a very deep, very peaceful, and very gentle sleep. And if this journey has brought you even a small sense of calm, a quiet moment of ease, you may wish to subscribe to Stories for Sleep, so that each night you have a tame place to return, a place without noise, without hurry, only gentle stories guiding you into sleep.